Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Just Saying Football with Jack and Sean. I'm your host, Sean Gann, alongside my partner, Jack and Nicholas. We're here to bring you news, notes, weekly updates, and game analysis of your favorite teams from around the league. Now, the chance, go check out our website, justsayingfootball.com. Follow us on Instagram at Just Saying, no GWJS for article and video updates. And don't forget to check us out on Spotify at Just Saying Football. Buddy, we're back. It's been some time since we've been on YouTube and Spotify.
Yeah.
Let's tell everyone why we're here today.
Yeah, so we got a couple of days till the draft. As Sean said earlier to me today, man, 2 weeks and a day. It's finally draft season, time to get some new players on your team. But we're going to be the ones today putting them down for you in our collab mock draft. Sean's going to handle the odds. I'm going to handle the evens. We're going to throw some trades in there for you, talk about how these teams and, the picks are really going to affect, the future of your franchises. So we're going to kick it off right here using NFL Mock Draft Database Simulator. And Sean can kick it off with the Carolina Panthers on the clock at number 1.
All right, awesome. And at number 1, we're going C.J. Stroud right off the bat. It's Frank Reich likes the guys with height. I think he's one of the most pro-ready quarterbacks in this. You can check out everything on Instagram for what I've been talking about the last few weeks about C.J. Stroud and some of these quarterbacks for more information, all right?
Yeah.
What about you, number 2? What are the Texans doing, buddy?
I know he's like your number 1 guy, but I'm gonna go with a lot of people's number 1 guy, the shorter quarterback option here. The Houston Texans are gonna kind of restart their franchise here with Bryce Young from Alabama. The kid is absolutely insane. Also check out what Sean's got to say about him in his top 5 quarterback video.
Oh, yeah. All right. Now, this is where things get interesting at number 3. Now, if I'm Arizona, you do need some edge rushers, and Will Anderson is sitting right there. Jalen Carter's also right there. However, I got someone on the phone.
Yeah.
And it's Atlanta. And they're saying, hey, I'm going to give you the first-round pick this year, which is number 8th overall, and I'm going to give you a 2024 first-rounder in exchange for your number 3 pick currently. And I'm thinking I'm Arizona. I'm going to say yes to that. I'll move back a few picks. I do think the Colts can move up here, but I don't think that I think that they're going to end up blundering this. So at number 3, Atlanta gets Anthony Richardson, the most athletic quarterback in this draft and the quarterback with the best hip twitch.
I love that. And, Indy here, like you said, they could be calling Arizona easily. And, Arizona could be like, hey, move up. But if a team like Atlanta gets aggressive and gives them an offer like that, there's no reason that they can't be moving back. With this, Indy is kind of panicking, and they came to the dance for a quarterback. You're looking here. You have some amazing franchise pieces on defense that you can have. But I have to go here with Will Levis out of absolute desperation for this franchise. I mean, we've watched them have Matt Ryan and Carson Wentz and Phillip Rivers, and the post-Andrew Luck days haven't been kind. Will Levis had a very low sporting cast, but he'll have Michael Pittman, Jonathan Taylor now. What about the Seahawks at 5?
I like it. Now, Seattle's sitting here, possibility maybe they were going to go quarterback for a second ago, but everyone just got taken the top 4 guys. They're going to take Will Anderson Jr., the top guy in this draft defensively, arguably, and they're comfortable getting their pass rusher for the future.
Yeah, so that's a great pick for them, and it falls right in their lap. They went right into the playoffs last year. They could be a team that trades up for a quarterback, but nothing just yet, with all the demand highly in there. For the Detroit Lions, they have a lot of issues. They just traded away Jeff Okudah. Their secondary was already super weak. Now, I see Christian Gonzalez, one of the more athletic corners on the board, but I am going to shake it up. I'm going to go with Devin Witherspoon here for 6. I'm going to give Dan Campbell the lockdown corner that he's actually been waiting for. And then I have 2 first-round picks, so go get a guy like that who's the top tier at his position. I know that this here has it higher, but I like Witherspoon better in that scheme. What about the Raiders at 7?
I like it. Witherspoon is a deep sleeper. Not sure why he's not going higher in some drafts. All right, number 7. Rumors they're going to trade up. Potential Will Levis. Now, Jalen Carter's right there, and that's really, really tempting. But with what's going on off the field and what's been happening the last few years with Vegas and some of their players and off-the-field issues, I do think that they stay away this time. I think that they're a little bit hesitant. And I think that they still end up going defense, but this time they get Tyree Wilson. Not Tyree Wilson, Christian Gonzalez, wrong person. I don't know why I was getting excited about Tyree Wilson. They end up getting Christian Gonzalez here. The cornerback falls to them. They get a guy for their secondary to help with Max Crosby and Chandler Jones.
I love that. And, yeah, especially two corners off the board in the top 10. This is a very deep corner draft, but these two guys off the board already, they are definitely like the 1A, 1B of the draft right now for a lot of people. Now, Arizona, I'm here in Sean's old position where she was at 3 after the trade up. Arizona, got some draft capital. I think right here, they go for my guy, Tyree Wilson. Right here, he is an edge rusher. I believe as well with Arizona, there's just a lot going on in their front office as well. I don't think that they're ready to kind of take on Jalen Carter right now, but it's definitely a safer thing with the loss of J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones the last couple of years. Tyree Wilson, he can really bring it.
I like that a lot for them. I'm a big Tyree Wilson fan, so I might see have him as early as
you love him.
Yeah. Now, for this one at number 9, I'm looking at the Bears, and there's a huge worry currently right now in the NFC North. You got Justin Jefferson and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and they do not have a true cornerback one. They're going to reach here, and they're going to go for Joey Porter Jr., cornerback out of Penn State. Highly physical, loves the man coverage. We'll need to stop touching wide receivers a little bit so much as we saw in the Super Bowl, but definitely will be the man coverage guy to go up against Amon-Ra St. Brown and Justin Jefferson.
I love that for them. Here at Philly, obviously, I am a little, conflicted as, want to give them the best player available. Fletcher Cox is up there. They have a lot of older guys. They have a lot of veterans. We were talking about, front offices that may not fit Jalen Carter. I think this is as low as he goes without somebody trading up for him. In this position, I think he falls right into the laps of the NFC champions and, eventually can develop into one of the better guys who, NFC East is going to have to deal with twice a year.
Yep, and having some former Georgia Bulldogs from the previous year on his team, like Jordan Davis, I think will really help him ease into the NFL. It's the right culture for him. I do love that pick a lot. Right here at number 11, we're going Peter Skoronski. Sorry if I butchered that tackle. He did not give up he only gave up 6 pressures in about 498 snaps last year. Okay, that is an insane thing to do. And Tennessee just lost Taylor Lewan. Rumors about quarterback situation for them. I think they shore up that tackle. How about Derrick Henry, who everyone loves?
I love that. And, here it's an opportunity. I'm definitely looking to take calls if I'm the Texans coming down after, another big tackle like this surefire number 1 tackle. And a lot of people's eyes go off the board. I could have seen them as well if Tyree Wilson didn't go early. But I think here you need someone surefire. You need somebody on the defense. I'm going to go with my guy, Myles Murphy here. I know they could have went with the receiver, but the receiver class, as we know, is deep, moving down. I think they could really get somebody with the second pick and the first pick in the second round. But yeah, my guy, Myles Murphy, I don't see him going too far down.
Oh, okay. Wow, I'm surprised because to me, the Houston Texans need to get a wide receiver to pair with it. All right.
They got picks, man. They got picks.
Oh man,
they got 5 in the first 120. So I think they could really get a receiver at the end there. Even though Jackson stared me in the face.
See, this now is where it begins to get really interesting for the Jets.
Yeah.
Jackson Smith and Jibba there is really, really tempting. But I feel like between all the signings that they just did, they still have Denzel Mims and all these guys. As tempting as it is to go wide receiver, I think they end up going Paris Johnson Jr. And the only reason why is because Mekhi Becton, it doesn't seem like he's the right fit for the team still. And so they shore up that line. They show Aaron Rodgers, we're going to protect you because you don't have David Bakhtiari anymore. Yeah. So they're really going all in right now with Aaron Rodgers. The trade could happen on this day as well for them at number 13. This could be Green Bay's pick. But for now, we're going to stick with it as though it's the Jets' pick.
Yeah, no, I love that mentality. And Paris Johnson, we were talking about Peter from Northwestern. I mean, another absolutely great pro-ready tackle. Here, the Patriots 14. They're division rivals. This one's kind of tough. You never know with Belichick. They don't. They could go. Maybe Broderick Jones and solidify their offensive line as well. They could also. With the loss of Jacoby Myers and many others, they could decide between Jackson Smith and Jigba or the top corner in the draft, Deonte Banks. I do think here that they take the opportunity and they go get Jackson.
Oh, Oh, thank God.
I had to give you a roller coaster of emotion on that
Yeah,
one.
he can't fall any farther. That's my guy. That's my wide receiver one.
Sean's not letting him fall the package.
No. Oh my God. All right. Thank goodness. Okay. So right now we got Green Bay on the board. Now a lot of people have them going tight end right now. Now I don't think a tight end is worthy of a top 20 pick in this draft. And I think that they know that they need to get someone in the wide receiver room to help them out. They just lost Lazard this season. Now, Quentin Johnson is super tempting, I think. But I'm a little bit worried about him, especially when he gets injured. So I'm going with Jordan Addison here at number 15. They take arguably, the number one wide receiver to some extent by some people's caliber. But to me, he's the wide receiver 2 in the draft, and they help out that wide receiver room. They help out Jordan Love.
Yeah, I think that's a great young addition too. We saw what he was able to do at 2 different
route runner.
I obviously love Addison, as I said, but that's a great pick, Sean. Like you said, I think the second, he's the second guy off the board. In a draft where people, may not be super high on receivers, we got 2 in the top 15, which is awesome. The Washington Commanders here, I did mention Deonte Banks before. A very athletic corner. That's a huge need, as we can see here for them. Maryland kid, had a great combine. I'm going to take Deonte Banks there. He's one of those guys, when you look at his stats, they're not too pretty, but that's the great thing. He's not giving up a lot of yards. He doesn't have a lot of picks, but he's not being targeted a lot because he's shutting people down. And that's what you love to see out of a corner. You don't want a lot of yards given up. You don't want to be thrown to too much. But you have a great opportunity there to kind of get a guy you can develop in a tough secondary. So I like that opportunity for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally right there with you. All right, now we get a little bit interesting. Pittsburgh Steelers here. What a team that's been. Now, a guy that really jumped on the board in the combine was a guy named Nolan Smith. And I think that they take him right here. It's just your athleticism and blitz packages that they're going to be able to do with Smith is going to be so much fun. I couldn't imagine being the right or left-hand side that has to deal with Smith and TJ Watt coming down at the same side. That's a great blitz package for a team.
That is wow. That is an eye opener. I'm like, wow, if the Steelers are able to get Nolan Smith, talk about a prospect who can go to the right team. And what do you know? I have to be the Lions GM once again. I took Witherspoon, which I knew shocked you in the beginning. And I got to say here, they have a lot of needs for a team that we're pretty high on going into next year. I'm looking at all of these guys. I'm loving Lucas Van Ness, as a lot of people know. You could really also get another receiver here to complement, Jamison Williams and St. Brown. You could also, kind of go for somebody like maybe Dalton Kincaid, who is the top tight end on my board, to replace a guy like TJ Hawkinson. I know a lot of people won't like that, but Jared Goff, with as many weapons as possible, he can really air it out. And obviously, as Sean knows, TJ Hawkinson didn't work out last year. If one team is going to reach on the tight ends early, I find it to be Dan Campbell at the end of the first round.
I mean, former tight end, we saw them with Eric Ebron, and then we saw them again with TJ Hawkinson.
They are not afraid to get a guy like him.
It makes absolute sense. All right, I'm Tampa Bay. A lot of needs right now for Tampa Bay, but I think the only thing that everyone can definitely agree on is that they do need an offensive line. We're going to go with Broderick Jones, the offensive tackle out of Georgia. The third best tackle to me on this. He still has a lot of, he's still kind of fresh. He's kind of green when it comes to the position. I think around only 500 snaps in his career. But I think he's going to be a huge upside for the run game that was basically non-existent. And they're going to need someone to block for Baker Mayfield this season.
I love that. No, and the A falls right into there. You pair him with Tristan Wirfs. I mean, a guy who developed like that. That's a great pick. It's tough here. Seattle. You got them the best guy in the draft at 5 and Will Anderson. And, everybody is saying that they need, the wide receiver. You could get Quentin Johnson here, but I feel like he's very similar to DK Metcalf. That's kind of my issue with him going here. But it's a crazy thing to think, but I could see them either going, Brian Brees or either Cansey here. And I am going to go with Cansey due to the fact that they have to deal with so much running, ability in the other side of their division year in and year out. So I'm going to go with Cansey here for them, get them both two huge defenses. We saw Seattle be one of the top scoring offenses, one of the worst defenses. So, now they can really solidify with two guys right in their front seven.
I like that a lot. I also wouldn't be surprised if they maybe went like Cam Smith or Kelly Ringo and helped Tariq Woolen out in the secondary. Even Brian Branch. I know Brian Branch is going to be one of the most slept-on players in this draft and will end up being a first-round steal for whoever drafts him. I just want to put that on the record out there. He's going to slip because of team needs, but Branch is one of those guys that's going to end up being one of the studs in this one. Now, right now in the Chargers, we surprisingly have a lot of needs. Now, the thing that's most concerning to me is that there's been no movement whatsoever on the Austin Eckler trade. No movement of contract talks and things like that. I'm drafting right now with the assumption that Austin Eckler is gone.
Yeah.
Getting my guy, Bijan Robinson, at 21 to the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm going to help out Justin Herbert a little bit more with the best running back in this draft and arguably the best offensive player in the entire draft.
Yeah, and like you said, with Branch too. I got you. The thing is, it's like you have such small demand for skill positions in this draft, and the guys who are really at the top are at the top, and they're still going to go low. We see it happen every year, but it really is something interesting to see. This is interesting. These two guys at the top are tempting me for the Ravens.
I know, it is tempting. Look at the two needs they need right there staring at your face.
Right there. And, I could take a look at the other wide receivers. I like Zay Flowers more for the factor of speed. That's kind of like what they've been looking for to get around Lamar, if he's there, obviously. And then on the other edge, you have the edge side. And, a guy like Lucas Van Ness, he's very raw, but we've seen them do this before with these pass rushers and get these guys who come off the edge. So I'm going to get Lucas. I think this is as low as he can really go. But, yeah, I feel like that's a very Ravens pick. I can already kind of see him going in that uniform.
Yeah, I like that a lot for them. We see them. And also with the release of Calais Campbell, they're going to need someone to get in that rotation up there in the front defensive line. Shoring that up now is all smart. Wouldn't be surprised if they reach on Jalen Hyatt. He just finds a way of getting free. I like that. He's always a little bit open. He might be a sleeper in this draft. All right, I'm Minnesota. Great. Let's go. A lot of rumors are out there that we're going to go with a wide receiver. Now, no. We cannot do that. We do not have the secondary that we need right now to succeed. I'm looking at Cam Smith. I want him on our team. I need him in my secondary. We need all the help that we can get. That's what ended up losing us the last few games of the season, especially the playoff loss to the Giants. And you saw Daniel Jones is making $40 million because the Vikings secondary made him look like he was the best thing ever, throwing 300-plus yards on us. That's unacceptable. It can't be happening. We were 13-14, and we did not look like it defensively. Get help in the secondary. Do not worry about the wide receiver 2. Do not sleep on my guy, KJ Osborne.
I like that. Now, the corner, you guys address it with one of your 4 picks. Hopefully we don't have to mock draft, because then we'll have to go through all the we'll have some time in between them. But I have to make something smart happen here for Jacksonville. I'm looking at the other guys now. There's a big separation between the corners here. Obviously, you have Emmanuel Forbes, Keely Ringo. But there are some guys, Jacksonville, they have kind of needs everywhere. But after last year, I have the full confidence in Trevor Lawrence. So I'm going to go with Osiris Torrance from Florida, the inside guard. They just need somebody. You put him and you have Noel on the other side. I think that it really solidifies what they're trying to do with Etienne and run everything through Trevor Lawrence. Just get the guy, the best interior lineman in the draft, and, just go about it. You have a lot of needs, but you're a playoff team now,
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of playoff teams, we got your Giants currently on the board. Now, it's tempting to go wide receiver here. I think it really is. You got guys like Zay Flowers still, and you got Quentin Johnson still on the board. Even a guy like Jalen Hyatt could be really, really interesting to this team. But the thing that I'm worried about with New York is that interior offensive line and how much money you just put into your quarterback. Now, I wanted you guys to go with Cyrus Torrance, but you sadly didn't get him in this one. So you're going to go interior offensive line still. You're going to get John Michael Schmitz. Really solid interior offensive line, played all through the center and guard position. You guys lost Nick Gates this season. You guys are going to need help in getting that interior offensive line set up. I think you guys go offensive line here. I just don't think Johnson's the right fit for this wide receiver group, and I'm not super high on him. I think when he's injured, and we saw it throughout his college career, you can really see a decrease in his step and what he's able to produce, and I don't know if the Giants want to risk it just yet. If in the second round they can maybe snag him instead, or get Jalen Hyland in the second round and not give up a first rounder for him.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. You know, it could definitely be something like where you even move back, maybe get Jalen and see who jumps on, you know, either Zay Flowers or Quentin Johnson. But yeah, the Giants do still have needs, and you know, Michael Schmitz is one of those guys who, like we said with Torrance, it's you just have to start protecting the people you're investing, you know, the entire offense in.
Exactly. Now you get another NFC East guy.
Yeah.
Team to pick for, and you pick all of like your team.
Except my team. I love that. Yeah, so you know, the Cowboys here, obviously, you know, losing Zeke, huge, you know, kind of, you know, losing, gaining Brandon Cooks for the wide receivers. You know, you have to take at least a look at the running backs available, and you look at Jahmyr Gibbs. But I think that what they really do need is, you know, kind of, you know, this is I see this as where Brian Branch goes.
I love it.
Crazy thing. But every year we talk about it, you know, the Cowboys are great, but they do give up some big plays. Not anymore. They got Brian Branch. You know, we know about the Alabama safeties. Those guys do not play around. So we're going to give the Cowboys the best safety in the draft.
I love that.
I'm giving them all the best picks too.
Going to end up being the steal of this draft. All right, now this is where it gets really interesting to me because I'm not sure what Buffalo will do here, quite honestly.
Yeah.
I think that they do need a wide receiver too to work along Stephon Diggs, and there's temptation there in Zay Flowers with what this offense does. But I've said it the last few years when it comes to what they don't do in the run game. And I think this is where they finally decide, and they go after Jahmyr Gibbs. They get a running back for this team to sort of work alongside everyone. They kind of add some depth. I think it's going to be a big James Cook, Jahmyr Gibbs season in that backfield, and that's going to give them a lot to do. That's your passing and running options every single time either one of those guys run out there. This offense, you don't know what they're going to be running consistently. They're going to give you a lot of the same looks, running out of the same looks and passing out of the same looks. I think it's going to really bring them to the next level. And we see every single postseason that offense begins to slow down. That gets cold. They don't have that run game to rely on. It's just Josh Allen. They need their guy to help it out. And then maybe in the second round, they're able to get that wide receiver too.
Yeah, I love that, Jahmyr Gibbs. And, you know, he will be supported in the sense that, you know, now he has Damian Harris there as well, who's worked in committee running back. So, you know, they can really complement each other very well too. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals, right? I feel bad now that I'm picking for them, and I've already given somebody else Dalton Kincaid. But I like, you see here, it's just an interesting thing. We have Darnell Washington, we have Michael Mayer, we have Brian Brees. There are a lot of guys they could get. You know, just because I have been so big on him since the season, I'm going to go with my man Darnell Washington. Sean knows I'm going to do it. You give Joe Burrow, this dude, with the receivers he already has. I mean, you're talking about we need to protect Joe Burrow. How about a 6'7" tight end who can block, who's blocked at Georgia? One of the guys I was just hoping to, you know, get up, like, no disrespect to Michael Mayer, but just the way that Washington's risked his stock up, you can't look at the tape side by side and not want to get Washington.
Absolutely. I love that one in this one for them. I think it's a really, really, really good pickup.
You didn't see it coming, and then you saw it. You're like, I saw you. You're like, it's it. That's the one.
Like, this is the guy I can be excited about. Thank you.
Well, let's do it. Who are you looking at for New Orleans?
Now, this is an interesting one because I thought Myles Murphy was going to be the one to drop in this one. So they're going to end up going from another guy out of Clemson. They're going to get their guy, Brian Brees. Sure up that interior defensive line / defensive end. We saw Marcus Davenport just sign with the Minnesota Vikings. They need help on that defensive front. They're going to be able to do that here. Now, Jack, you're the full-time GM for the Eagles, your favorite team.
Oh my
One of
God.
the
I mean,
30.
if I could have traded both picks, I would, but we're out here making sure we got no bias. And I'll tell you this, the Eagles, with bias aside, they were one of the best drafting teams the last couple of years. They've built a really big roster. They just went to the Super Bowl, had 3 picks last year, 2 this year. Really incredible stuff. And they already got Jalen Carter dropping right to them in this situation. I would love to have given them Brian Branch, but I know that that's definitely what the Cowboys are looking at as well. I do think that they are pretty much set when it comes to the offense. However, I would love for them here to maybe get somebody like Darnell Wright. Lane Johnson signed that big deal, but he is at the point where if he wanted to leave, he could at any point in that deal. So, Darnell Wright, you just get the even more protection for Jalen Hurts right before the rest of the protection kind of grades drop off for the rest of the offensive linemen here. Darnell Wright's kind of that last pro-ready threshold,
Yeah, absolutely. I really, really do. I like that for them as well. Now, Chiefs on the board, defending Super Bowl champions here at 31. Now, this is where it begins to get interesting. They can do a lot if this is sort of what they're looking at right here. Michael Mayer, that could be the replacement for Travis Kelce, who's getting up there. Zay Flowers is that speedster that can replace McCole Hardman / Tyreek Hill / Juju Smith-Schuster, who just left. There's Anton Harrison, who could shore up the offensive line. So I'm not 100% sure what they'll do here. Now, if I'm them, I'm going to probably just stick to what I know, which is to protect Patrick Mahomes. And I'm going to go Anton Harrison here. But I really do want to stress, it would not surprise me if they ended up going Zay Flowers. They lost a lot of guys in free agency in the wide receiver position, and they obviously need to get more playmakers outside of Travis Kelce. But again, when you got a guy like Patrick Mahomes, you just lost Orlando Brown Jr. and you replace him with Juwan Taylor. Nothing against Juwan Taylor, but I just don't think he's Orlando Brown Jr. So you got to help shore up that entire offensive line as a whole. They end up going Anton Harrison.
I love that. Honestly, I was talking about Wright being kind of the threshold, but him and Harrison are both those guys that, they have first-round grades for a reason. They're incredibly talented guys.
Former Oklahoma guy. Panned out really well with Orlando Brown Jr., so why not try it again with that experiment?
You can't mess when it comes to Oklahoma tackles. Even Trent Williams can tell you that. Now, I'm looking here at the Steelers. Obviously, this one is just due to, I believe, Miami not having their first-round pick this year. With this, though, I did want to just shoot out here. I would say that, they got to do the cornerback thing, and I think that Emmanuel Forbes here would be the end. I think that he needs, they don't really have that guy who's been stepping up since maybe like Ike Taylor, and they drafted guys like Artie Burns in the first round, things like that. But yeah, at the end of the day, we're looking at the mock. We have one trade. 4 QBs going in the top 10 in the 4. We got that rounding out with 5 more in the top 10 on defense.
Quarterback too. Jeez.
This is it's a crazy thing. Like Sean said, Miles Murphy all the way up there. Things like this, the pass rusher groups, they're going to move up.
Quentin Johnson,
how are you feeling so far?
I think there's been rumors circulating around Quentin Johnson and the wide receivers in this that after Jackson Smith and Jibba, there's really no one else in this draft. So I think that's going to be something to watch and monitor, which wide receivers are getting picked, which teams are getting picked, where. Because to me, if you're getting Bryce Young, if you're Houston, you got to pair him with someone. So for them to double down on their defense, that's DeMeco Ryan saying, I'm going to get you your quarterback, but I'm going to get my guy on defense. To me, that's what that's saying, which I like to some extent also because, Young can still develop. And at the end of the day, DeMeco Ryan's a great defensive-minded guy. So if he says this is the guy we should reach on, I will defer to him in that. But I think it's going to be interesting. And, man, Indianapolis, if they get Will Levis, I think it's going to be an uproar in Indy. They'll be stuck having to do this if they don't give up.
It's like you said, if a team like Atlanta comes in, that's really where things start to just ripple effect into what we know as the draft. Just complete uncertainty until the exact moment your team is picking. And then even then, you have no idea. So I think this, how you feeling? You think you drafted well, Sean?
Well, I'm happy with the Vikings pick, so I wanted to just ask you, how do you feel about the Giants pick that I did for them at 25? Where would you maybe have gone in that moment if you were on the board, might I ask?
Yeah, so it's interesting because you said it before that my favorite receiver there, Addison, who I'm hoping falls down maybe around that area. Even if I didn't take Osiris Torrance there, I would have kind of taken your philosophy, just getting that inside the offensive line. But in that case, just Jacksonville looking at a player like the top of his position is kind of what led me to go there. But if I was the Giants, I would love to kind of see them go with maybe somebody, it's interesting. Like there's not too many people, but maybe, even getting a Jahmyr Gibbs to kind of solidify, the Saquon Barkley situations, or, even a Brian Branch, tie him with Xavier McKinney in a room that's already in a room with Landon Collins. I mean, you got 3 Alabama safeties with Wink Martindale. That would just be unfair to, people trying to throw on the Giants. But it's just tough, as we see a lot of the chips fall. Even Brian Brees would be interesting, just knowing that, maybe we don't get Dexter Lawrence locked up for a couple of years. But as you can see, all those guys kind of fall right around here, and not a lot of, they could go, all 3 of those guys could go way earlier or way later than we expect.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of Bama guys, by the way. A lot of Georgia guys in this draft. I just realized.
A lot of Georgia guys.
So
back-to-back national championships will do that, though.
Yeah, that definitely will. But that's all the time we have. Thank you for listening, for tuning in. Keep sticking around. We got a lot coming up. Don't forget, we got a live show for the draft, April 27th. It will go live on YouTube. The link is going to be on Instagram. You can find it there. You can tune in there, watch us some live draft reaction to how everything's going to go.
Yeah, feel free to check in the whole time. Feel free to check in if you want to see how we react to your team's pick, good or bad. Even our team's picks, which will, are always good reactions in the sense we never get who we want.
It's stressful.
Make sure draft night. Check us out. Just Saying Football on YouTube. We will see you there. Thanks for checking us out.
Enjoy.